What up, world? It's your boy Mark Walter Ward, Super Facts Show, Super Facts Network. Today we got with us Maffew Ragazino Sr. Just off the top, brother, how you doing? And are you retired?
No, sir.
Thank
Never
God.
retire, man. I might rebrand, revamp, reinvigorate, rebuild, reboot, but I never retire, bro.
So you actually got love for the music still after a decade in the industry?
Music is me. Not to sound cliche, but it's something that I can't shake, even if I wanted to. I just can't shake it. It's even deeper than music. It's just art, period. Because I didn't start out doing music. I was an artist, like visual. I was drawing and painting, or like on some child prodigy shit from the jump. And I grew up in a music household. It was like a party house, my grandmother's place, and they played all of the oldies, the Otis Redding and Luther Vandross and all of that stuff. I grew up on all of that, all the soul music. So that was that. I can't shake it. And then I was paired with my youngest uncle, who was a DJ, aspiring DJ, and an artist too. He rapped. That's who I was paired with as the first grandchild. He was the youngest baby. That was my mom's youngest brother, four brothers. That's who I got stuck with. So it is me, man. That's all I know. It's
Do
art,
you,
music. That's it.
do you still paint?
You know what's funny? So I forgot about all of that stuff. We start piling on layers as the years go on.
Yes, sir.
As we head into adulthood, we start forgetting ourselves more and more because that's what's baked into the system for us to become, workers
Hmm.
and just be this sheep way. And I almost forgot that I did all of that stuff because one of the reasons it didn't really I didn't really continue doing that for long was because I didn't really have a lot of supplies. Growing up, whenever you aren't in control of finances, you're a kid, you may have a dream, but if you can't find some way to finance or get the supplies, if you don't have somebody pouring into you and saying, "Yo, I must help cultivate it," or get this person with someone who is capable of helping to cultivate whatever it is that's going on, then you might forget all about it. And I did. Luckily for me, I continued to write. I started writing poetry, and then I started rapping like my uncle so that I could be cool to him. So luckily, I stayed in the arts. But if I didn't, I don't know. I don't know if I would have picked it up. My kids, they came out as artists, and they sparked that interest again. Why? Because I'm around it every day. They're painting and drawing, and they're getting better by the day, and they're at it every day. And like, Dad, come check this out. Dad, come draw with me. Dad, come paint. And I'm scribbling and drawing, and it's like, y'all really used to do this.
This
That's crazy.
word. I mean, bro, that's a hell of a good point. I'm from PG County. I don't know if you know where that's at. It's outside of DC. Like Kevin
Yeah.
Durant's from there and all that shit. And
Are you
I
still there? Are you still there?
nah, unfortunately, I'm in Tampa. My in-laws live out here. My
Oh,
uh
copy.
my wife helps take care of them, but I'm not a Tampa guy. But I,
That's a
I
little
used to go
better.
to a school that didn't have books, like enough books for motherfuckers to take books home. Like the books stayed in the classroom. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So like
yeah,
if we didn't have no copy. If we did have homework, it'd be like a mimeograph, I think it's called. Like some shit they crank that shit.
yeah.
Yeah, and like a bunch of people from my school went to college, but then when they went to college, they'd have to take like remedial maths, remedial English, learn how to write like college, like learn how to write college essays and shit. So like you said, to your point, they didn't have the skills nurtured, and then when they got to college, they were behind. So I mean, that's one of the biggest problems in the community that no one ever talks about. Like they talk about lack of resources for food, or maybe even like shit like
Facts.
basketball courts and stuff, but they never talk about arts. Like schools basically just eliminated arts from the curriculum, and that's got to be a bad thing.
Absolutely. And for those that do have it, like to piggyback on your point, which is an excellent point. For those that do have it, for an artist, going to art class once a day after you have me in this, is it all right if I curse?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You got me in this shithole for like 8 hours a day, bro. And you mean to tell me that I gotta wait until next Thursday to do art? Because that's the only place that I get to express myself artistically if I don't have these tools at home, if I don't have a place where I can get paint all over shit, if I don't have an easel, if I don't have all the essentials to be able to express myself artistically. Yeah, sure, I can find some way, because where there's a will, there's a way. But when you haven't developed that part of your mindset, it could be tough. It could be it could be such a hurdle that you feel like it's too high for you to jump over when you haven't even been taught to think like that sometimes.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely glad you refound the passion for drawing and stuff. But back to the music. So since you're not retired, when are you gonna be dropping new music?
It's literally around the corner. You know what's funny? It I've been saying that for a little while to my peoples that have been hitting me up in the DMs and the PM messages. I've been getting a lot of love and a lot of requests to put some shit out. I've really been working on being super self-sufficient and super family oriented. I was inspired by somebody that I know. He's a good friend of mine. I consider him a friend, even though something he said didn't really sit too well with me. He said, yo, if you want to make it in this business, you're not going to be able to be a family man. You can't be the family man that you are. And he said that to me maybe, I think it was like 2015, 2016. And ever since then, I just been trying to reconfigure my whole setup, like to be able to debunk that theory, because my family is something that I built purposely, like a sniper. I was in the bushes waiting patient to construct things the way they are now. And I'm not going to give it up by no means. Like, sacrifice everything for it, because it is everything. Usually people, they claim that their pursuit to get funds or to get success is inspired by their family and is for their family. But I don't believe you shouldn't have to give them up to be able to obtain that. While you may not be able to carry them through every single mission, it shouldn't be a situation where they got to stay behind. They don't know what's going on. And then you just coming back with the bag, coming back with the success, coming back with the opportunity. For a lot of reasons, the kids need to see those steps so they can learn as early as possible. They need to be able to see you when you're growing. They need to be able to know why for everything, so that you guys don't become separate. Because what happens too often is you go get the big bag and that's cute. You come back with it, send the kids to college or wherever it is they want to go. They don't even know who you are. They don't even like you. Why? Because you're gone, whether you're working a job or pursuing, something on the independence, on the independent side. They don't know who the fuck you are. Like, yeah, that's my dad, but I don't know nothing about him. Yeah, he paid for me to go to school, but like, bro wasn't here for this. He wasn't here for that, you know?
Word. You watch that show Reservation Dogs?
Reservation Dogs?
Yeah, it's about like some kids growing up on a reservation, some Native American kids.
No. I'll
Oh,
definitely check it out though.
it's some deep shit. But one of their fathers is like a successful rapper, and he'll never be there. He's always in Los Angeles. Just what you were saying made me think of that. So what steps have you taken? Like, what can you do to mitigate that? Because I ain't gonna front with you, bro. Like, I'm jive like you. I waited till the right time to have kids, and I mean, in the music industry, kids can hold you back. It's definitely held me back from like not being on the scene, because I don't want to be out of shit till 2 in the morning, and then not able to get up with them, and like you said, miss out on their youth. So I can totally relate to it, but what shit? I could use some advice. What have you done to mitigate it?
Well, to each his own. but I can only tell you how I feel, how I felt, and the steps that I've taken. For one, in hindsight, although I have no regrets, I do feel like a lot of this stuff that I did to be away, the bulk of it was pretty unnecessary. Thinking that you live and you learn. Everything, some things are very much trial and error, but a lot of the relationships that I thought I was building or tried to build, those weren't real, those weren't authentic, and I can put time and energy into something that's more important, like them, their education, more important than anything else, my personal relationship with them, because just because you are a part of someone's life doesn't mean that you're a part of their lives.
Right.
Like you can be there physically, think you're there mentally, but be totally absent because you're not involved in one the day to day. You're not always emotionally invested. And I said, I'm not going to let that happen because I've seen it happen too much. That's been the testimony for almost all the children of first generation people that were in pursuit of some sort of success, some sort of end game. Um, my children are artists. My wife's an artist. So at the end of the day, it's like, all right, one of y'all pick up a camera instead of me trying to chase around videographers. Like my
Word.
kids, they do all of my artwork. Like at least 90% of all the releases is them. Like, and they get busy.
That's what's
They
up.
know how to use all the programs. Like we've been working on that. And they're resilient. They got the dog in them. How do I know? Because the whole time we've been working out. Like we probably been working out together and training more than we've been doing anything else. And we've been doing a lot of art together. But we've been working out and eating right more than anything. I sit down with these people and we have lunch every day, even on the days that I fast. And I fast most weekends. Like I posted, this shit is legit. Like I probably post less than 5% of my lifestyle. So I don't even have room to cap. I probably usually Thursday afternoon, sometimes Friday morning. That's my last that I eat at all until maybe Sunday afternoon or sometimes Monday morning.
What motivated you?
Like,
What led you to start fasting?
um, well, one was I got some practice whenever I converted over in 2019. Um, I was at the masjid with the brothers,
Oh,
and that was the
Ramadan.
first time that Ramadan fast. While I hadn't been on my deen, I made sure that I at least did that for a multitude of reasons. One of is definitely the discipline part because I knew that I lacked it. While I was able to have discipline for certain things, that overall discipline, that man's man discipline, like the type of discipline that you exude when you step in the room and people that are your age have to address you like sir. I
Got
wanted
it.
that. I
Heard
wanted
that.
that. I knew that I needed that for my kids to be able to have that. So that was a big part for me. The food, because I knew food controls people. So
Yeah,
that was like big motivation. I knew that it controlled me. I was a foodie. Like you could listen to all my raps.
yeah.
I got a bunch of food references. It hasn't stopped, but the ingredients have definitely changed. And I definitely don't eat nowhere near as much as I used to. But life is all about that discipline, man.
It is, especially as you get older, because lack of discipline have you not able to move. Fat, whatever, all the things that come from it. Like you start hitting 30, it's all that shit start magnifying them things that you can get away with when you're young, and they're the people without discipline. They definitely feel it a lot harder. So before we when we were setting this up, you're the only person that's ever challenged me, and I love that shit. You said thought provoking. You wanted thought provoking questions and all that. And
Nah, it's already starting off like that, bro. It's already going there.
Well,
I
that's
don't
what's
know
up.
where it's going. I ain't mean to cut your knowledge off, but it's definitely going somewhere.
It's all good. I mean, I hope you don't dislike this, but you know, opinions are like assholes, but I kind of got one about why you like. I feel that you're elite and you're not placed where you should be. Like I feel as a songwriter, you're probably one of the top songwriters I've ever heard. Like no cap. And
It means a lot, bro.
oh no doubt. And I feel the thing that this I'm not gonna say held you back because I don't know what goes on in your life, but and I don't want to say this the wrong way, but like
Nah, we talking.
underground boom bap, any of that type shit. I feel like not that there's anything wrong with that. I love that. That's why I don't want to offend people that or offend your producers. But
Nah, we talking, bro.
I
Let's
feel like
let's
you haven't
let's
had the
go
right
there.
production. I feel like you're epic, and you need more of like not copying, but just so a placeholder, so you know I'm talking about like a Kendrick Lamar sound, like more
Yeah,
music, more musicality.
yeah. Nah, I totally agree with you. I partially because I'm a hip hop baby. Like I grew up, um, my uncle was damn near sticking his radio out the window of a 16th floor apartment. Why? So we could listen to Stretch and Bob because it was hard to get reception. So like I didn't go back and do research on any of that stuff. I was a part of it. You know what I mean? So that's always gonna be in my heart and dear to my heart. But that's not the only thing that I do. I'm definitely multifaceted, and through trial and error, I realized that in order for me to be satisfied as a human being, as an artist, I have to attack all of those zones. I wouldn't feel comfortable abandoning any of those zones, but I know that I'm definitely one of those guys that needs the musicality because there's a lot of layers to me, a lot of layers that I've learned about even within the last, let's say, 6 months and last 2 years since the pandemic's been going on. Um, I ain't got no excuses, bro, but I'm not gonna lie to you. The whole time that I was doing music, I had a couple of handicaps or things that I allowed to be handicapped for me that I didn't use to propel myself. I'm not mad about any of it because I love the space that I'm in right now and I didn't whore myself out. So I'm still like I've been around, but I'm still new, if
Right.
that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But the whole time, bro, I was working dead end gigs, um, allowing that to hold me back, those schedules. So I was really doing music like wham bam, thank you, man.
Right. Cause you be
The
tired and shit.
whole
That work can make you
the whole
tired.
the whole time. And I'm talking about it's public information and I talk about it in my music, but I got two older children that I'm on the books for. And it was always a money thing. Everything was always a money grab. So while I'm being extracted from, I still gotta live. And I got a
Right.
family that I made that I live with that I gotta take care of. So everything is all about chasing a dollar. And I didn't chase it through the art. I chased it outside. So that means it would be an hour here. Oh, okay, I got finished working. Let me see if I can stay up and finish this verse for X person. And I did projects like that, bro. I'm talking about like everything was always I'm behind the eight ball. There was never a time where I was able to sit down and be as romantic with my process as I know that I can be. Unfortunately, that time came when I got my studio space in Long Island City in the end of 2019. But unfortunately, the shit that happened as soon as you turn the corner in 2020,
Right.
that
Mm.
shit stung everybody in the ass. I didn't know what was going on. And I'm like, damn, I'm just sliding back into my groove. Like I'm in a different kind of bag at the time. It was crazy. I had, session people coming through. I was on my Mike Jack Prince shit for real. And a
Okay. See
lot of
that. That's
people
what I was talking about. Like again. I'm not trying to disparage your work at all, but I was left thirsting for that. You know what I mean? I want to see him go bigger, and not with the rap. The rap is big enough. You know, it's
nah,
what's behind it. You know.
the production because you got to be able to get romantic with that process. I definitely totally understand what you're saying, and that's what type of vibe I was on, and it's continuing now. But that's what type of vibe I was on, like the end of 2019 all the way up until the pandemic time. That's what I was working on. And I let the studio go because I had to make some big boy decisions, and I ended up moving down to Virginia to get up out of the city. Shit was too crazy.
Oh yeah,
Everything.
where in Virginia?
I'm in Richmond right now. I
Okay,
don't know
I
for
met my
how.
wife in Virginia. You know, they say about Virginia, you go on vacation and you leave on probation. I got cased up out there, and then I was on parole, so I had to live in Virginia. And
That's crazy.
but it's like Northern
That's
Virginia. But I
that,
would go to Richmond all the time. VCU be
that's
having
what
some live parties, or at least it did back in the day.
I don't know what it's looking like now. I just be creating and working out. That's pretty much all I do.
What kind of workouts you be doing?
Mostly calisthenics, but started integrating the gym, lifting, started doing that as well. I think merging those two worlds is like the best that you can
Yeah,
get. I'm more of a
definitely.
fan of calisthenics though, because I prefer the rip over the pump. Pause.
Pat, I heard
But
that.
I'm and plus, I'm from New York City. I was in the parks
Right.
all year round, no membership, outside in the elements. So if it's cold or it starts raining out of nowhere, I'm not gonna stop doing what I gotta do. I gotta get the money regardless. So I'll be on the bar and it'll be pouring down. Like that's the type of shit I'm used to.
So
So
by
I
calisthenics, you mean
definitely,
like pull-ups and stuff, right?
yeah, everything body weight,
Oh
all
yeah, I
body
mean,
weight on the
bro,
on the bars,
that's
on the
still
floor.
resistance training. You know, like I'm not gonna say it's just as good, but you can get damn fucking far just doing that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, while I don't think one is necessarily better than the other, I would prefer to be the mad scientist on the calisthenic side because
Yeah,
it is. If I was hanging from the side of a building,
that part.
because you got people that'll go inside the gym and lift that motherfucker all the way up, twist it around, and toss it over to another planet. But if they were hanging off the side of a cliff, they would be dead.
Word. It's about that functionality. I'm totally with you on that. A lot of that gym shit it's just for pictures or to get big, but it don't got no application. Like you ain't good. I mean, how often are you gonna be lying on your back pushing some shit up? You know, but you might be, especially living in the city, you might have to hang out or some shit. Fire can start anytime.
Facts.
I can totally dig that. So
Super facts.
with that with the fasting, do you find that sharpens your pen?
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. The fasting definitely sharpened the mind. Something scary. I had never seen it before. Like I started out as a writer. So I put the pen to the paper, the pencil to the paper. That's how I came up. Eventually that turned into smartphone shit, typing stuff in the phone. And then it got a little bit integrated between typing shit in the phone and just memorizing, just because I would be at work or be on the train. I can't access my phone or the phone dead. So I would come up with a lot of shit in my mind. And I felt like I was at a little bit of a standstill, even though I was still able to be creative. I just knew that there were more that I had to peel back. And I rediscovered that in 2019 when I got my studio space, because I was just able to just sit in there and I was by myself. I was recording. I had a different kind of piece. It was in a basement, so there was no windows. I didn't have a clock up. It was different, and I decided to start writing again just to try it out, just to see if there would be some different results that I could yield. And I integrated the three together. So whenever I'm writing, like there's no singular process. Like I don't have like a formula. Like I'm like a mad scientist, like Einstein trying to figure out the theory of relativity. Like I'm sitting at the desk and I got voice notes on the phone. I got stuff typed in the notes. I got some shit written down. I'm coming up with new shit right then and there, and I'm just picking from everything, like whatever may apply. Like my process is just, it's extremely unorthodox. I haven't seen anything like it before, and I've been around some I feel like some prolific writers, but I definitely probably peg myself as the self-proclaimed weirdest one.
What who comes to mind when you think of prolific writers you've been around? Master Ace.
Yes, that's definitely one of the guys. Um, I, with all due respect to everybody, I kind of like, I don't use words recklessly, but somebody may have a difference in opinion and feel like, oh, that person is not. If there's someone that was able to get their shit through the ethers, especially before the internet, and it affected my ear and my life, I don't give a fuck if they sold 1 or 1 billion records. To me, they're legends. And I fuck with the lyricists. It doesn't matter whatever subgenre they may be a part of, but I fuck with the lyricists. Like, I was fortunate enough, of course, Sean P is family. I got a chance to see him in multiple zones, like when he was LaFleur, Ruck, to the Sean Price, the Donkey Sean Jr., all of those different facets. Shit, growing up, I was around UG a lot. Spent a lot of time rapping to my guy over the phone. Spent a lot of time with him in person at a record store that we used to go to in his neighborhood that I went to school in. Who else? Shit, you want to hear some funny shit? I think I might have only told like 1 or 2 other people. But when I was I think maybe like 11, I had met my man Shabazz the Disciple, going to go drop my grandmother off at Port Authority. She was living in Atlantic City. And I used to call bro. I know he don't remember because it was so long ago, but I used to call bro on the beeper. And he would holler back at me and I'd just be rapping in his ear and shit. He was somebody that I loved as a kid.
I know what you mean, bro. Like I really fuck with Half a Mill. I don't think a lot of people
Oh yeah,
remember him or
he
know
was,
him, but like you said, if they
God
saw
bless his
one
dad.
record, it didn't matter. Yeah, RIP, but
God,
it didn't matter.
God,
Like if it moved me, it moved me.
facts. God bless his dad. Um, I spent some time with Rockness too. I used to go to his studio that he had in Cephalo with Little Rock from the Representatives. I spent time with those guys, seeing a little bit of their process and rapping to those guys all the time. Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. My childhood was pretty blessed. I went to school with Jinx the Juvie and lived in the same neighborhood as Jinx. Shout out to
Is
Jinx.
that's not Group Home, is it? I know that name.
No, no. Jinx the Juvie was signed to Def Jam. He was known as Russell Simmons' son. That wasn't really his son, but it was really his son for real.
Gotcha.
He was like, he came up with Cool G Rap and Papoose back in the day. Like when G Rap was, I think he was living in Arizona when he had that Root to Evil album, like those years. And he was big time, especially in the neighborhood, and he was super ill back then. And
You
man,
know,
I ain't gonna hold you. I was fortunate, man. I was definitely fortunate.
you know,
Mad skills, living in Richmond. Like I wake up at my homie Architect. Shout out to Architect. That was one of my producers when I was living in the main producer when I was living in Richmond earlier in my life. And Mad Skills used to come to the crib. He'd be there. I wake up mad late just in time for 106 in Park because I stayed up the night before just writing this shit. So I spent time hanging around him for a bit. And I was always a sponge, so I was listening to all the gems and asking a lot of questions. So
yeah,
the
he
influence,
hella smart, that's for sure.
yeah, some legendary cats had a lot to do with my influence.
You know, I caught from listening to your music. You grew up in the house with some people that was Decepticons, huh?
Yes, sir.
So
That's my
okay.
that was my uncle. He's currently incarcerated, but that's who used to run with Sean P back in the days and was best friends with Rock.
You know, they write like articles about the Decepticons. You can read like a four-page joint in Complex, and I'm sure there's little documentaries on YouTube. But I'm curious, like, what does the mainstream not get about the Decepticons? Not get like, I don't know, do they get it wrong? Is there things that aren't known? I know it's like much more. I mean, some of them shit you read, they try to make it sound like it's like a gang or some criminal shit. I know it's not that. Like I mean, whatever it is, it seems like they have like a family aspect to it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that, it's public record. Uh, some things may have gone on that they might not be too fond of these days, but at the end of the day, what's so unique about them, that those guys are still brothers to this day. Like, in regards to whatever may have went on, like those brothers, and some of them are up there in age, they still brothers to this day.
And
They
still
never
known. How
let.
many things was like the Decepticons that don't nobody know the name of?
That's a fact. They keep the name alive, and it ain't on some BS. They ain't on bullshit. Yeah, you're right. Because there were a lot of gangs, crews, cliques, posses, clans that are now defunct and failed to ever be mentioned.
I just always thought there was more to it than what's told in like magazines and YouTube and shit like that. Because
It
like I
is.
said, it just seemed more of a family thing than what they were trying to portray. Like it didn't seem like it was no parts are all bad. If and a lot of the shit that you hear that they supposedly did or were alleged or whatever is stuff that just like young motherfuckers, poor young motherfuckers who get some money or get some attention. A lot of that shit is just mistakes. I mean, shit I did from 20 to 30. I ain't proud of a lot of that shit, but that don't make me no bad
Yeah,
person or no whatever.
yeah, nah, definitely. I would definitely. I don't want to be out of line speaking on any of that, but I can speak to the good that I know, and I definitely would say, like I said, those guys are still brothers, and they support all of the people that were mega successful to come out of those camps. You got, Smith and Wesson, the boot camp, all of those guys, like they still get love, and from some of the hoodlums, I don't know if other people are able to achieve that kind of, I don't want to say success, but like that camaraderie where it's never like never any hate, where it's like you can't go back to your crew. You can't get love from your crew. Like you go to shows and you'll see all of those guys out, and then you'll see some of those social media pages where they have photos of them back in the day, and it's to me it's honorable if you're still alive and you're still able to know and have positive relationship with somebody that from 30 years ago,
Yeah, hell yeah.
because especially these days, you can't even know somebody 30 minutes or 30 days for real without their agenda being revealed, and maybe it's not to your liking.
Or I find a lot of people seem like they brittle these days. Like they get upset about shit so easy. Like the quote unquote they like that you're supposed to listen to. Like now, I mean, I ain't getting another COVID vaccine shit, but just shit they be telling you to do. It's like the same, like what to say, how to act. These are the same people that wanted to put rappers in jail. I mean, Joe Biden put me in jail. Like I did time behind mandatory minimums from that fucking crime bill. And like these are people we supposed to listen
Wow.
to now. Like I don't understand the shit. Like the same person that like Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters hate rappers. And I just don't trust no one that don't like rappers. Like I remember all them people on that censorship shit,
Yeah,
protesting stores, filing cases against Tupac for what his music said with the Dan
yeah,
Quayle shit, like or the Texas Trooper shit, like all that shit. And now these are the people we're supposed to listen to for like morals and values and how to conduct ourselves. I don't buy that shit.
now listen to your God, man. That's what I suggest to anybody, man. Whatever your God is, man, listen to that. You'll be better off.
The
I'm right with you. I know where you were going and where you weren't trying to go, but I think we see third eye to third eye. Pause.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it just seems like a big old gaffle. Just the way like selling drugs is a big scam to get motherfuckers in the penitentiary. Like a lot of this shit just seemed like trick knowledge shit that you're gonna get caught up behind, shit that don't got no long term value.
Bro, who ain't selling drugs these days?
It's
I mean, when you think about it, everything can be classified and should be classified as a Schedule One drug.
yeah,
From
I
the
mean,
food,
nicotine,
over the counter medicine,
artificial sweetness.
that's a fact. That's a fucking drug. Or else it wouldn't be right there next to Food Drug Association. They're paired together for a reason. But
I think it's like a conveyor belt, bro. Like Walmart is like a whole window into life. Like you go in there, you buy the fucked up food. You know what I'm saying? Then you gotta go to the doctor. Then they got the pharmacy in there so you can get your pills. Like
that's a
it's like the
fact.
whole American cycle's in that motherfucker. You know, if you look at the clothes, like the stuff they're selling, I mean, I don't know everything, but I'm sure it's all not super advantageous to the people making it. I'm sure a lot of that shit's made overseas where they barely pay people and all that shit. And it's just
And
like
child labor.
exactly. And it's I mean, I don't want to say a den of sin and sound like some old Bible thumper, but you know,
Yeah,
like everything at Walmart is basically bad. But if you go around talking that shit, people act like you crazy.
because we are crazy,
Word.
and we got to be fine with that. It's all right.
Yeah, don't bother me now.
Nah, it used to. So I used to be mum's the word, but now I don't give a shit these days. I mean, you still got to be aware of what's going on, but ain't no reason to be scared, man. Like, if you scared, you need to watch Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
ain't
word.
ain't no ain't no wizard.
No
You
bullshit.
are the wizard.
Man, you ever heard of this movie called Tucker, A Man in His Dream?
Tucker, A Man in His Dream. I haven't, but
I saw that shit on
that
Netflix this week. It's some Martin Scorsese, no, Francis Ford Coppola shit from the late '80s, and I thought it was some fake shit when I was watching it, but it turned out to be a true story. This dude built like a car that had a rear disc brake, like basically safety shit that's in cars today, but also got like mad more mileage to the gallon, and he was gonna sell it for cheap, and they basically just fucked him over, like took all his shit.
that's crazy. I need to damn, let me find out. I need to resubscribe to Netflix to watch something real quick. Funny shit is I had it up until New Year's. My son told my wife that she needs to get rid of that and Disney Plus because he's a creative and he said he doesn't want to be disturbed spending 30 minutes looking for something to watch. He'd rather just be in his room creating
Yeah, you
or
do
in
waste a
the
bunch of time
studio.
trying to find shit to watch.
I want to see that though. When we go offline, you gotta send me the reminder for the name of that show. And I think it was a movie you suggested early on.
Now that was a show, and the last thing I said was a movie. But yeah, I'll hit you up and tell you all that. The man, like a lot of the shit I want to talk about, you done already brought up a little bit, so I don't want to be So talking about Brooklyn, you know, I used to go up to New York in the mid to late '90s to buy Clue tapes. Like I catch the Express Greyhound bus, and just go up to just find a motherfucker selling like it'd be like when you got off the bus and shit. The people near the bus had the CD, like the Dipset CDs would have the fold. Well, they didn't have Dipset back then, but they'd have the fold out. But then as you got further and further, they got jankier and jankier. But then they have more titles. So I used to go up there with like 100 and cop mad mixtapes and take them back to PG and sell them, listen to them shits. But say what?
Nah, I just said woo.
Oh yeah, but the so I haven't really seen. I ain't been there for a minute. I ain't really seen Brooklyn post gentrification, and I'm curious: is it still like cats rapping outside, and is it still do people still play outdoor basketball?
I'll be honest. From driving around a lot in New York, the outside basketball thing is almost like a thing of the past. You'll have
Mm.
you still got some parks like the Tillery Park that I would see people playing basketball in downtown in little pockets. But when you go all through the hoods, I can't recall seeing people, and it's been for a while. I don't think that it's like a big thing anymore. I remember growing up where it was the thing,
Yeah, hell
and
yeah.
then for a while, some of the younger kids, there was like the era, like an era or two before, up underneath me. Those guys, they were like skateboarding, so they would be skateboarding on the basketball courts. But nah, basketball shit is like mm, the rapping. Maybe that might go on deep in the hood, but shit is definitely different now.
I mean, you don't
This
ever hear stories
new
about like
Brooklyn.
what happened.
Nah, I said this new Brooklyn is definitely something different, and everybody is pretty much being pushed to like Brownsville and East New York if they can't survive in any of the other parts,
Cause
or up to the Bronx or out of town. That's the next step after that.
I mean, that's how that shit always go though. You know, I mean, DC used to be. I mean, I guess it still is Chocolate City, but that shit got way whiter than it used to be. Like fast too. It's amazing how quick that shit happened.
Right up under your nose,
And
it'll
then
be
you see
over.
you see him do that shit efficiently, and you wonder why other things ain't done as efficiently, like building rec centers or whatever the case may be.
You said building rec centers.
Yeah, like a lot of shit, even schools, like that shit ain't done efficiently, but they want to tear down the projects and put up some condominiums for some rich people to move into. That shit works smooth as a motherfucker.
And we let them win every time. We let them win every time. You know what happens whenever you don't have that physical capital, you need the people. You gotta lock arms and you gotta lock minds. But people don't know how to do that shit, man. We so individual based. We so lost.
I
We
mean,
so
some of that can't be blamed on the people though. Like I feel like a lot of that gotta be, the deliberate assassination of all strong black leaders. Like that shit ain't no accident.
so I'm like 50-50 with that. I feel like maybe I could be wrong. I don't want to be biased, but I feel like there's like markers or moments in people's lives where they get some sort of aha moment. I feel like everybody does. And if you don't answer that calling, you could be stuck wherever you are at that moment.
Yeah.
You have to answer the calling. Like you ever see that show what's that show? With the 828ers, the people on the flight that got stuck in time and they like 5 years behind or something. What the hell is the name of that show?
But I think there's like
Forgive me.
8 shows like that. I've definitely seen like one or two of them though. I know
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
yeah, but I feel like everybody gets those callings, man, whether they're aware of it or not. And sometimes they could be like big, super important calls, and sometimes it could be like just little small hunches that's just like a nuisance almost. And if you don't answer, I feel like sometimes you can box yourself in where you don't get them at all anymore for the longest. And when you're consuming bullshit, you definitely block those calls. Remember
What are
back in
some
the
things?
days before call waiting, you hit somebody's phone, hit them in the house, beep, beep, beep. So you know, like, all right, they on the phone, or maybe when the internet was first popping off, all right, dude probably on AOL or some shit like that. That's what you do to yourself whenever you do all the damage with the food and you're abusing your body and your mind.
Yeah.
You block all of those callings.
I mean, like what you're saying not isn't metaphorical, but it's more like on a grand scale. But on like a micro level, the food, all that sugar, that increases the risk of Alzheimer's, all kinds of memory related shit that affects the way your mind works. Like sugar penetrates the brain blood barrier. So
That's
I
a
mean,
fact.
you ain't never lie about that. The I don't know what the Rod Strickland jump you released. What would you call that, a single, the EP?
I don't. I guess you could say EP single.
I mean, I don't really
If
give
it
a fuck
had
about labels. I just ain't
instrumentals,
want to misname it. You know what I mean?
yeah, nah, it was just 2 song project that I did with my man Sickness, and it crashed right into the pandemic. It
Mm.
was crazy. It was
I'm
crazy.
a huge Wizards fan, bro. Rod Strickland is easily my favorite basketball player ever. No question. I used to go to all the games. The lady across the street from me ran the restaurant there, and man, this dude would literally be eating hot dogs like at halftime. He would send ball boys out to get hot dogs and shit, give him 100 and tell him to keep the change, and then
Wow,
be throwing up. I'm not even making this shit up. He'd drink like mad soda and hot dogs and be throwing up. My man ain't really have no jumper for an NBA player and was unstoppable going to the hole. And
that's a fact.
before Kyrie Irving, I thought he easily had the best handle. But in some ways, his shit's more impressive because He ain't had no jumper. And I mean, he's going to the hole on Jordan when Jordan was Jordan defensively and all that. And
What?
I mean, there ain't no point to that. I just fuck with Rod Strickland. But what made you
Nah,
choose that to?
you and me both. I feel like he was special. He was a different kind of point guard. Like you said, not having that jump shot, having that handle and that finesse, and like everybody respected his handle. That was kind of the metaphor of me naming it that. Like you're gonna have to respect my handle after I start dishing out this work. And that was just the beginning of it. That was like almost like it was supposed to serve as like a small little jab to set up some other shit.
I mean, I definitely see the similarities. He ain't never made the All-Star game. You ain't yet, but I got a feeling you are, especially if you're gonna release. I was dreading you saying you was retired, but the other John on there, you had the Tim Duncan song, and I'm like clearly you're a basketball fan. What do you think of my take? I think Tim Duncan is better than Kobe Bryant, or if not better, I rather would have had him on my team.
Oh man, don't talk about the mom, but of me, man.
All
That's
right, but
my
but
guy.
look, you own a team, right? In this scenario, Kobe gonna do the want to quit. He gonna do the not quit, but get traded. But when he didn't get traded, and then he gonna have the problem with the co-star, and then that snapping on people shit. Or you can have Tim Duncan have just as many rings, more points, more all defensive teams. He taking pay cuts at the end of his career. Kobe Bryant jacking him to the max, playing on sorry teams. Tim Duncan running with Kawhi and them still competing for titles. So I just think
I
if I
give
was
you.
owning a team, I'd rather have Tim Duncan than Kobe Bryant.
I don't want to give you that, but I'll give you that. You speaking super facts, but I it ain't up for debate, man. Mama's the greatest, man.
I mean, I'd
That's
rather
my
watch Kobe Bryant.
that's my guy. But Tim Duncan, now the part of the reason why I named that song Tim Duncan is because I felt like um I kind of embody some of that a bit, selflessness, the fact that I can go intricate, but I heavily rely on the basics and I make the best out of the basics because I wasn't able to lock into studio sessions with session players and do what I want to do. I was making the best out of whatever I may have had, no complaints, and banking that shit. Because at the end of the day, everything that I was able to obtain, every room that I was able to be in, every wall that I was able to break down, every building I was able to scale throughout my career thus far, I humbly say I did that shit with nothing. No out of pocket costs. No, I ain't nothing. I didn't have shit. I ain't have shit. I just had some talent. Um, I wasn't too cocky. I had some sneakers and shit. I was getting fresh, and I had God on my side. That was pretty much it, though. Everything else was just, all right, I'm gonna fuck with dude, or let me look out and give son his opportunity because he's talented as a motherfucker. It was a blessing, all blessings.
Talking about the shoes, I saw that you said you don't be caring, but I think you said I used to think shoes was everything. I don't anymore. I still get fresh though, and I'm with you, bro. Like I used to be so into the shoes, and then I looked up one day. I'm looking at my closet. I'm like, damn, I got like 70 pairs of Jordans that are all red, white, and black variations. Like this shit boring as a motherfucker, and like cost too much money. What made you change your opinion about, let's say, the necessity of a large sneaker collection? Because it used to be a necessity, at least with me.
Yeah, nah, definitely. Um, Make a long story short, I just was seeking. It was like liberation, man. I'll be honest. It was a heavy burden, and I just was trying to literally clean my closet, literally and figuratively, because I had been carrying so much. And this is whenever I started to realize that I really got to do something different to shed those layers because I want to make room for the more important things, which is family and art. If I had to dumb everything down and go full minimalist, that's pretty much all that I would need to be able to survive, aside from, my nutrients that everybody's needing. It would really be family and art. What can I do without? And I said, I want a big reward. And I know that I can't get that without some sort of sacrifice. So what represents everything to me that I'm willing to part ways with at this point to be able to render some success in my life? And I just looked around and I said, what have I been addicted to? And I was like, it's not food, because I don't really give a fuck about that shit. It's not liquor. I could care less. Like, all right, cool. I've been drinking since I was a kid, but I could do without it. What can I do without? And I was like, oh no, not the sneakers, not the shoes, man. Not the fucking shoes. No. Nah. And I fought with myself for a little while. And I have an ego when it comes to not being able to control myself. And this was before the pandemic and the big reset. This was all going on like 2019. So it started out as me, instead of taking money out of my pocket, kind of, I said, raising money to get my studio. So
Gotcha.
I was letting go some shit that I had doubles of and triples for no reason. Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was no Mayor or Clark Kent, but I had accumulated stuff from like year 2000 that I had been holding on to. And I had been working since I was a kid, doing after school shit and after school shit, any way that I could make money just so that I could buy clothing and sneakers, with sneakers being the most important to me out of all of that. Because no matter how the trends went throughout the years, baggy jeans, rockstar style jeans, the Visu jeans, true, whatever, that shit came and went, and the clothes went out, but the shoes always stayed. And I always kept my shit in good condition, whether it will fall apart when I wear it years later or not. I always kept it in good condition. And I had so many pairs that sometimes they would get lost. So it's like, oh, I only wore these once. But I had fucking storage unit. First it was my closet, then it was my lady's closet, then it's my kid's closet, then I'm throwing shit in the corners, and it just got ugly. So then I went to a storage place, and then I was working so much and doing music that I really only went to the storage place whenever I went to go shoot a video or go make an appearance somewhere. So that shit was money going out for no reason. And when I looked at my numbers at the end of the day, I was like, this storage place is gonna have to go. And I can't take all these fucking shoes back home because it's gonna be too much. So I gotta start liquidating. And when I started clearing that shit out, man, I just started to feel a lot better, because every fucking shoe equals a relationship. So it's like, whether you know a lot of people or not, you know a lot of motherfuckers, because let one shoe go missing whenever you're an addict. You up in arms about that shit.
Yes,
You
sir.
ready to kill somebody. Like, you almost would be ready to throw away the rest just to get that back, because you were missing something. At least that's how I was. And I realized how sick that shit was, just saying it to myself. Like right now, I'm sick to my stomach just talking about it like this. And I just went on a mission after that, just seeking liberation, bro. Divinity, divinity, divinity. My man from the UK said, bro, just walking away at divinity. And I didn't know what he meant. But when I started relinquishing my collection, and the more and more I started getting rid of stuff, first it was like no grails, I'm keeping all grails, and just get rid of doubles and triples. Let that go. Or like something dead stock that might have a little bit of age on it, where if I wear it, it could break. But if I take it to go trade it or sell it, it might be worth a couple $100. But if I wear it that one time and them shits might explode on me or something. Pause. So I started that. And then after that, it was like, get rid of the big boys. Get rid of them. I just heard a voice in my head like, all right, the Ben what? Get rid of it. Oh, Dornbecker who? I know the cause is positive, but it's a fucking shoe. It's rubber and faux leather, cotton. Get rid of this shit. And I just started getting rid of it. And then it was just like one release go by, and I'm salivating, foaming at the mouth and shit. And then after a while, it was just like I don't even know what's coming out anymore. And like I fucking love sneakers. Like one shoe that I definitely wanted, I was in love with the twos, madly in love with the twos, like pretty much all my life. So much to the point where I had a fucking pair of bootleg twos. I only had two pair of bootleg mics my whole life. One of them was the Aqua 8s, and this was back in 2002. And only reason why I even wore them was because they looked real. But I threw them shits away shortly after, and I never got another pair of bootleg
As you
joints.
knew. I feel you.
But it was the twos, and people didn't even know what the twos were, even though they was on a retro card. I would hit the mall and get mad questions and stares because they like, what the hell are those? And I'm like, they Jordans, because them shits is so disrespectful. Like fucking white shoe with black strings in them and a white bottom. That's disrespectful. I always thought them shits was crazy. And twos, that was like in my top 5. Nobody was fucking with the twos to the point where, you know, Mayer, right?
I don't.
Mayer, look up Mayer. Mayer is like one of the illest in the sneaker game, sneaker aficionado, whatever you want to call him. Like when I say he got shit that he probably ain't even supposed to have, like dude is one of the illest. That's one of Clark Kent's best friends. Make a long story short, he and I did a music video called Superstar, and I had the pleasure. I was blessed to be able to film the video part of it at his crib and at Flight Club, and we were at his home in his shoe basement filming. After filming, we had a long conversation about his life period, but of course we spoke about shoes. And he asked me, he said, what's your favorites? And when I mentioned the tools, he was just like, what? The tools? Like, so if you had to pick for like 3 to 5 shoes, you would have the tools in there. And I was like, easily. And I started explaining. He's like, just be quiet. All right, stop right there. And he gifted me the Ben tools, dead stock.
Damn.
I was going crazy. He was like, yo, I don't know anybody that likes the tools. That was back in 2011. That shit is crazy. But
Did you rock with deposits? I know you
my,
like pennies. I hear you talking about pennies a lot, but how about any of the other posits? You know, in DC, I don't know about now, but in my day, we loved the fucking posits.
and you not rocking posits, so fuck it. I want your Jeep. That's what my man Fat Trail said. Yeah, I actually still got the Tim Duncans.
Damn. The Tim Duncans is the black ones,
Still,
right? And the silver ones is David
why?
Robinson, if I remember correctly.
Nah, I still got the silver ones, the Tim Duncan joints.
You don't remember the commercial? It was Tim Duncan and David Robinson.
Nah, send me that commercial, man.
Oh, I mean, ain't like I seen it. I remember that shit because we was open. We went and got both of them. But then I was like traveling then, and when I went other places, people ain't really like them shits.
Nah, that's an underrated shoe, man.
It is the posits in general. I like when they do the capsule collections and they posit other shoes. Like I got some posit dunks, you know, some posit I got all kinds of posit shit. Posit. I got some green posit Jordan ones.
That's PG County, man.
Yeah,
That's that
posits in the
DC
Nike.
shit.
I don't
And go it
understand that y'all
dome.
be in
And
New
go it
York with
dome.
them sneakers and shit and all that. I've been living in Florida too long. What they call that shit when it's like not snow but not rain? It be on the
Sleep.
ground. Yeah,
Sleep.
sleet, slush, and all that shit. Like all that shit, they'll fuck your shoe up. You know, the
Facts.
curb, the cold curb. Like
Facts.
I got to a point. I was like, man, I'm tired of buying shoes with white bottoms because I dogged them shits out the first time I wear them.
The Goa Domes is fire.
I still, bro, like, I mean, I ain't on the shoes like that, but I want a pair. You know what the platinum posits is?
Um,
Well, that's just the one everybody knows. I want the flight posit twos. Don't nobody know what they are, but they know the platinum posits. There's like the jumps with the honeycomb bubble, and for whatever reason, they never retro
oh,
them, and I can never
oh,
find them shits.
you talking about all the joints that the KG wore?
Yeah, and they had like a honeycomb bubble on the side.
Yeah,
Like
all them
East
joints.
Bay had like the team jumps where you could get like black and red or
Yes,
black and green for
yes.
your team.
I used to like those a lot. I had the ones and the twos.
Man, I
I
wish
didn't,
they
I didn't
retro
have
them.
I didn't have the threes. It's funny because the threes in New York when I was in high school, they weren't that as popular as the ones and the twos.
Yeah, I mean, the New York cast I be around, I ain't never saw one that really liked posits until like after like 2005 or so.
Nah, they was rocking with deposits. Well, I know
I
I
mean,
was
that's just the
balling.
cats I know, you know what I mean? And you know, this down south, so a lot of people that say they from New York ain't really from New York either.
Facts.
Oh, bro, I went to jail in South Carolina, and I might as well have been in Brooklyn from what everybody said. I'm like, shit, is there anybody from South Carolina in this motherfucker?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that shit,
nah. There'd be a lot of people from Brooklyn though.
it do.
Everywhere.
To finish up, I definitely want to get back in touch when you start dropping new music. But I'm curious, you personally, do you fuck with Ron Pays or Brooklyn Jesus more?
Brownsville's Jesus.
Brownsville Jesus, my bad.
Um, both projects, they I got a space in my heart for both of them. Um, I'd say honestly, if I had to choose today, I would definitely say Brownsville's Jesus more. Why? Because it was more me than anything else that I had done up until that time. Because I was at home recording. I was by myself for a lot of it and just creating. Still on a shoestring budget with the time, but I was just getting in my bag with the recording self. That was when I started recording myself. Well, that was 2012 when I started recording myself, and I had that time up until the release, January 7th, 2014, if I'm correct, to just get in my bag as a recording engineer for myself and discovering a lot of things. So that was a part of my process too that I enjoyed, and that alone time to create. If you're not, I love that because I can get real personal. That and the session players and working with the producers, like one on one. I love that type of work because you can get musical. It turns into a symphony from just a sample and some drums and an email. I like that process a lot better.
Nah, I feel you. Like I ain't one to question people's creativity, but like a lot of that shit I see in the studio when it's like basically just like a 10-person party. Like that should be a good time, but I'm like, are you really making your best music doing that?
Impossible.
Exactly. I mean, what they
Well,
say, if you
well,
serve
I
two
won't say.
masters, you serve none. Like I feel like if you're making music, you shouldn't be distracted.
Yeah. Well, I won't. I guess best music is subjective, but when you get into like being legendary and introspective, those people are going to be more in the studio, like by themselves or with necessities, necessary people, no non-playable people. Maybe one or two people might sneak in the session if you're in a big studio, but I'll be honest, me, I don't think I'm ever going to have to worry about that because I'm not a big studio fan. I think those are cool for the aesthetics and maybe you go out of town and somewhere for you to meet you know maybe an artist that has been around for a bit and they'd be more comfortable in that setting, one of those name studios. But for me, when I'm digging in my bag and I'm going stupid, I prefer the small studio session. And you know what's crazy about these big studios now, you'll see a lot of artists recording outside of the fucking $1 million recording booth, sitting next to the engineer. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's fucking retarded. That's a waste of time and space. Like, you got a Neumann mic outside of the vocal booth. You got the vocal booth, you got the beautiful ambiance. You can turn the lights whatever color you want, dim them, change the do the volume control for the headphones and all kind of luxurious shit, chandeliers in the booth, grand piano. I've seen it all pretty much. And it's like you're recording outside of the vocal booth. Why? Because it just feels more warm. Pause. It's a different vibe. They trying to capture that small room, small studio space vibe. And it's best to go authentic as opposed to synthetic. So for
Always.
me, I prefer to record at home or in that's with that small studio vibe. I love that shit, man.
Shit, it definitely sounds good when you do it. The last thing when you start releasing music again, what social media platform do you interact with the listeners the most on?
Notifying about the releases, I guess.
Or just if they want to
Oh,
tell you like I like it or I don't like it, whatever. You know.
um, I guess all of the normals. I've been more active on Twitter than I have been in the past couple of years. I took a liking to the spaces. I've been doing that. Getting with the NFT community. I'm not gonna lie. That was something that piqued my interest. So I've been fumbling with the idea of even going maybe a release or two, like doing it only on those platforms, just because of the way that you can interact with the people that fuck with your art. It's very personal. It's like those small room performances. It allows you to stay in contact with these people so you can, gift them other stuff in the future. It allows them to share it with other people. You can do like limited releases, even though it's digital. So, and that's something like I like that because that's real boutique. That's personal. Even the biggest businesses, they've realized over the years that it's more about, well, the smart ones, they're still successful. They know that it's not about selling product. It's about selling an experience, providing an experience. It's about being in service. And that to me is something that I always been a fan of, especially like working in retail, having that stamped in my mind that it's all about experience because both of us could sell the same shit. What's going to be the difference? A lot of times people think it's price, but it's not even price because people, whether they're smart or not, they will pay for the experience. Like,
Yes.
yo, I know I gotta pay $10 more, but when I go to bruh, like the way that they bag the shit over there, the way that they greet me over there, the way that they know my name or they ask how my day was going, like people appreciate that shit. Sometimes subconsciously they appreciate it. So you sell the experience and you're good. I feel like that can be done on those NFT platforms versus mainstream platforms. Those are cool. I'm not knocking those, but I just feel like the way that an independent artist thrives and shines is selling experience because I can't outsell you. I can't go print a million pieces of vinyl right now, but what I can do is make those 50, 100, 1,000 fans that I'm dealing with, make them feel like they know me, make them understand who I am. I can get personal with them. I can do shit like what we doing right here with them. But when you start getting crazy with the numbers, then you got to have a barricade. Then you can't really show who you are because it's just too much. Like you said, that 30 people in the studio, like you having a good time or you trying to make the best music of your career.
Word. I'd rather make the best music of my career and then go have a good time somewhere else
Correct.
in a place with beds and shit.
Correct.
Well, brother, I truly appreciate it. Like I said, I'm very heartened to hear that you're gonna be releasing music. We've been Facebook friends for a minute, but we ain't really interact that much. But I've been a huge fan. I mean, I definitely remember when Ron Pays come out. I remember like more mixtape shit that I don't see on Spotify. I guess I gotta go look on Dat Piff or something.
Some of that stuff is gonna end up on those platforms. I don't know why. I mean, when you're a one man army, sometimes you forget some shit, sometimes you miss out, but I've been doing a better job at staying organized. My wife been on my back about keeping all that shit right. So you definitely gonna see a better senior in this year and the years to come. I ain't going nowhere. I'm an artist, so it's not no rap shit. I just happen to, I guess, rap, but like I'm an artist, so I love to do this, to express myself. I'm always gonna have something to say. Like you see this interview, like interview is way different than any other interviews that you'll see of me online because motherfuckers ain't asking me or nothing. Motherfuckers, I mean, with all due respect, most of the time you go places and they might clout chase. So it's like I gotta have that person as a guest, but it's like, what are you really? All right, I'm gonna bring me to the table. No cocky bullshit. And what are you bringing to the table so that we can, as a collaborative effort, make this interview interesting? Because at the end of the day, you still got to keep your lights on. and I'm trying to turn on some new lights. So if
Word.
that's what we're trying to do together, then we got to max out. But you can't max out if you don't do any research or if you're not interested in the guests.
Bro, you ain't never lie. It kills me how many times, not even just rappers, artists in general, express gratitude for me listening to the music. And I'm like, who's interviewing you that's not listening to the music?
That's a fact. Like this right here is, I can't wait till the people see this, man.
Well,
They'll get to hear shit that they ain't hear before. See me talk about some subjects. And I know we ain't even go super, super duper crazy, but it's crazy enough because I've never been questioned like this before. So I definitely want to salute you and show my love and give you your flowers because I appreciate you even reaching out again.
oh well, shit, thank you, brother. I
And
appreciate that.
let's definitely not make this the last time. Like I'm almost upset, but everything happens in due time, on God's time, God's speed, because we should have did this a while ago, man. But it's all good. It's all good. Everything happens the way that it's supposed to. And we are definitely gonna stay in contact, like even off the air, like we gotta definitely build.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's a perfect place to end it. I'm about to send you them shows and movies I was talking about, but that's all I got unless there's something I missed out on.
Now, for now, I guess that's it, my bro.
That's a bet. Well, I'm gonna hit you up and then we'll get you back on the show when you start dropping some music.
Appreciate you, bro.
No doubt, man. Thank you for
Super
your
fat.
time.
All right, Mark. Good looking, man.
Yes, sir.
Love.
Welcome to the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network. I just appreciate you listening. So I'm not going to ask you to follow me on Instagram at Mark Waldo Ward. I'm not going to ask you to rate and review the show. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe to it. Thank you for your time.